Hello everybody, my name is Matt and you're watching JNM Simulations. Today is going to be a continuation of the series, of our FSPassengers series, in the progression,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome
I guess our own
Dash
progression.
Q400. We're just waiting for the last of the luggage to be loaded on board, and then we'll be able to get underway in a few minutes. On behalf of the entire flight crew, I wish you a pleasant flight.
Anyway, cool, I didn't actually realize that the last time I played. Anyway, what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be flying the Dash 8, and we're going to be flying it from the Isle of Man, where we are right now, over to Manchester. And really nice aircraft, the Dash 8 Q400 from Majestic, and we're going to be flying that all the way over to Manchester and with FSPassengers. So as that's getting ready to go, what we'll do is we'll get the aircraft set up. Won't take long. There's only, you can hear the boarding music. It's how do I go back? It's E, G, and S.
Hello.
Enter. Then we're going IOM. Enter. And we're going EGC. Very short flight. We'll be cruising at about 15,000 feet. That doesn't make sense. Then we're gonna come into menu, get our departure. We'll depart. Oh, let's get the ATIS. There we can just
Cabin is secure. All passengers are aboard. Ladies and
There's a
gentlemen,
lot
on
of
behalf
fly
of the
B in it.
captain and crew,
Oh my
welcome
gosh, so
aboard this
long.
flight. We hope you enjoy flying with us today. Before takeoff, we encourage you to watch our cabin crew display the safety features of this aircraft.
What?
Information, Lima 1818 Zulu, wind calm, visibility greater than 20 miles, sky conditions clear, temperature 152.1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to the cabin crew while we display the safety
Landing,
features and
departing,
procedures of this
runway
aircraft
8.
in case of
Alright.
an emergency.
VFR
In an emergency, please remain in your seat with
Turn
your
her down,
seatbelt
she's annoying.
fastened.
They're departing
In
8,
case
so
of a
we're
drop
gonna
in
put
cabin
2.
pressure, oxygen masks will deploy from the
There's
panels
no
overhead.
SID.
Pull the oxygen mask towards you and place over your head. The mask can be tightened by pulling on the
there's no
straps
SID.
at the front of the mask. The bag may not inflate even though oxygen is flowing.
Alright,
If
so
there is
that's,
smoke
I mean,
in the
there's not
cabin,
much else to
the
do
walkway
there.
emergency lighting will display to the
We'll
exits,
press flight
which are
plan.
located here
And that's all
and
set
here.
up.
In
And
case
what
of an
we'll do is we'll
extreme
go set
emergency
up our
landing, you will
arrival.
be instructed to get into the brace
We'll
position,
be,
which is executed by placing your head between your knees with your hands over your head.
let's set it
We would
for
also like to remind you that all electronic devices should be turned off for
05
takeoff,
left.
and that mobile phones must not be used for the duration of the flight.
Star, we will be
We
used.
thank you for your
hopefully this
attention during this
IOM.
brief presentation.
We'll just go with that then. Which is 1. And our approach will be the ILS for 05 left. And we will go at daily. We will enter. So we're gonna get all the no links out. That sounds that music's actually not by me. It's actually by the aircraft, which is really cool. That's all the missed approach stuff. What we'll do is we'll come into DTO and press 1, enter, then we're all good. So, we are pretty much ready to go. We just have to get the aircraft ready to go now. And what we'll do is we'll start our APU. Sorry, my dog is extremely loud. Turning on our lights, just testing that. We'll set this up for now. We're gonna go. Actually, we're gonna be starting 2 first. Engine intakes are closed. We'll open them. All right. So the APU is now started. We'll turn our recirculating fan on. Our cabin altitude be set to open. And it'll be set to auto. As far as that, we're pretty much good. Now we can get going on our way. So do we have something odd going on? Where's IOM? From IOM. We're not actually at IOM yet. From EGNS 1 to 2, no, 1 to 2. From, yeah, no, what are you doing? No, I need to do that. Maybe because they're so close, they don't. Yeah, I mean, it's so close, I guess they just disregarded it being there. It's only like a 90-mile flight, so really not that big of a deal. So we'll get our pushback started, just a straight back push. We have to look out to see where we're going to stop it. Oh, the gates, I'm so sure that I closed that, but... It is closed. That music will stop.
Pushing back now. You're clear to start the engine number 2.
I thought it would, but I guess not. Clear to start number 2. There's there. I'll do it when I get to 20. Get it to start. And we're just gonna wait here outside so that we know when to stop. This will be good. I think it'll be good. Flybe really dominates this airport, as you can see down there. It's a little island off the coast of England.
On behalf of our airline, we would like to welcome you on board of our Dash 8 Q400. The flight time today will be approximately 2 hours.
Pushback complete. Lead
Please
is
fasten
departing
your
range.
seatbelts and refrain
It will not be 2 hours. I don't know where she got that from.
Parking brake set. Can we get clearance at number 1?
For takeoff and landing, these devices must be switched off, and the cellular phones may not be used during the entire flight. We wish you a pleasant stay.
Clear for number 1 start.
Last flight.
120.85. Sniper unit on takeoff.
I'm pretty sure there's some putting the pattern. So I'll have to take off within there. So we'll get our aircraft ready. This
Ladies and
one.
gentlemen, may we have your attention to the international safety regulations. This aircraft has 6 emergency exits. 2 exits are located in the front, 2 at the wings, and 2 at the back. They are marked on the exit sign.
Parking brake and anti-skid.
Path markings on the floor lead to these exits. Each seat is equipped with a safety belt.
I guess that one.
To fasten the seatbelt, put the 2 legs together. Tighten it by pulling the loose end.
One is a little bit slower. It's coming up now.
Your life vest is located under your seat. It is sealed.
Beautiful sound in this aircraft.
Hey, and take the life vest out.
I apologize for all the talking from these people. I would be talking right now, but unfortunately they're quite loud. We'll put this down so we're not going too fast. And we're going to need to zoom out so that we can use the tiller. Going back. Why? sometimes the Pushback has these weird things. I don't get it.
Well, we are ready to Pushback.
So I'm just going to reinitiate it and fix it.
Release 1 3.
Quite close to that now.
Pushing back now. You're clear to start the engine number 2.
We'll end it.
Pushback complete. The engine's at 1 ring.
Why do we keep going?
Ronald Twin Tower, 635 is 6 miles west, inbound ILS, runway 8 approach. 635.
Never seen that before. That's odd. I guess sometimes it glitches out. I've been flying this for a while and that's never happened to me. But I guess we'll just have to disregard it. I mean, I'm not gonna reset everything. So we're going runway 8. Which is around here somewhere. Oop, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry, the tiller sometimes, when you're doing views, the tiller might, you're going back, and I don't know why it's doing that. It's really irritating me. I really have no idea why this is happening. But it's not the pushback speed either, so we can actually move the tail, so I feel like it's just going backwards or something. And it's not like our propellers are not in reverse. So I don't know. We'll just have to continue going. Why that happens. It's okay. There's a 320 from EasyJet. I'm going to be using any flaps today on the departure. So this is 8. It's the runway that they're using. I get why they did that, because runway 8, we're just going to be going directly out, and then we're just going to line up with going to DCS, which is the first, why is that there? Which is the first waypoint on the SID. So we'll climb up to about 15,000 feet. I know it's short. I did another flight and it was much longer than this, but oh yeah, we shouldn't have done that. What happened was I accidentally deleted the video files when I thought it rendered, and it hadn't rendered yet apparently for unknown reasons. And I lost all the video, and it was much longer and much nicer, but because of time constraints I have for today, that's what I have to do, and I really apologize. And I'm really annoyed, but I'll get that flight out. I'll do it again at the same conditions, and at some point, so you can see it. Unfortunately, for some reason, the tiller will just go straight, and then I have to click it again, and it's making it really difficult to steer around. We're gonna go down to the end of 08, and then turn. See where I just did that? I don't know. And we'll just turn around here. We could probably set our... Yes. Not right now. No, I'm recording a video and the dog just interrupted me barking. No. I don't need to wash anything. I didn't realize how loud that was. So now we're just gonna line ourselves up on the center line, and then just go through last minute checks, get our prop up to max RPM, and then take off. I'm gonna actually set our altitude real quick as well to a desirable altitude. This thing really does slip around the runway. It's got it has P factor on it, so that does happen. We'll go up to 13,000. That's perfectly fine for our purposes today, and we'll get those up, and we'll put our props up to full RPM. So it is a fixed RPM aircraft. All right, so let's go. Take off to our side. Slipping around a little bit. We're going to take off at about 105 as our V rotate. Pretty slippery, yeah. So we'll just turn left and join our flight plan. I'm sure it's extremely beautiful to fly out of this island. I mean, looks really nice. So just maintaining our climb, trying to intercept our flight plan. You can see that's a huge left turning tendency with this aircraft. And I'll engage our autopilot in just a few moments here. I'm just going to turn on to the flight plan real quick. Gotta add a lot of rudder to get a successful turn.
Tower 3196 miles west inbound ILS.
Sure, coordinated
approach.
That's good.
196 Ronald Tower, fly straight in, runway 8,
What I'll do is I'll set autopilot for vertical speed. We'll maintain that, and we'll set it for our heading select, yes. And we'll start going on that.
120.85 for small Foxtrot, Yankee Echo.
There's another aircraft up there, 8,000 feet, it's the Piper. We saw it earlier. Wing level, heading select. So, okay, just to turn into here to get as close as we can. There we go. It's really going to be just an up and down flight. It's not really anything longer than that. The aircraft does not have an auto throttle, so we have to manage the throttle the entire time. Which is not that bad. When we get up to our cruising altitude, I will set it. I will set the takeoff, not the takeoff. I'll set the thrust to the appropriate setting. There's a lot of general aviation aircraft in this area. As soon as we get to Manchester, there will be a ton of commercial, but for now, we we're still in the kind of area that's dominated by general aviation, because it is a municipal airport. It's not a very large airport as far as passengers. So you see, you know, we're really only cruising for our flight to DCS, which is still about 18 minutes away. As soon as we hit that, we will be turning to the right and starting our descent. There's something I wanted to talk about today, which I talked about in the video that I tried to do, but it ended up failing, as you guys know. And that was what I want to see from add-on makers. And the reason why I wanted to say this, because I think it's really important that,
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now safe to use your portable electronic devices. Please remember that mobile phones must remain switched off for the duration of the flight.
I think it's very important that people who buy the aircraft are always getting what they want, because we have to realize that because it takes so long for these aircraft to be made, very rarely do they come out quickly when they're nice quality.
Passing 10,000 feet, Captain.
So basically what I'm saying by that is that we need to make sure that they're making aircraft that we want, because when they're not making it, what happens is when they're not making an aircraft that we want, the next aircraft that they're going to make is going to be 3 years away or so. So we're going to have to wait a few years to get the aircraft that we want. Just going to come outside to get some nice visuals of the aircraft for the thumbnail. We need to make sure that they're making the things that we want them to make, so that we are buying the aircraft that we want, rather than sitting here waiting for the aircraft that we want, which might be years away. So that being said,
The captain has turned off the seatbelt signs. You may now take off your seatbelt, but we encourage you to remain seated with your seatbelt fastened at all times.
Anyway, it's important to make what you want known. Basically, what I just an altitude alert. What I want to see more of, I want to see more Airbus. I know that Black Box Simulations has an A330, but I heard that it was very unfinished. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I'm not going to buy it and find out. As far as the Aerosoft Airbus X, that's the only Airbus that is very highly detailed. So I think that it's important that we hit Airbus as well, because all the big add-on companies are actually making Boeings now and have made Boeings. So I think it's kind of, you know, unfair if we leave out Airbus when they are a huge developer in the world for aircraft, especially when they're such a large company. I think it's a little ridiculous. Oh, we're going past that. I forgot to do it out. But we'll get back down to 13,000. Like I was saying, I think it's important that we hit Airbus as well. Airbus is an extremely large manufacturer in the aviation community, so leaving them out is kind of dumb. With the, you know, I think that we should, you know, if anybody wants, any Airbus would be great. You know, the 330, the 340, any of them I would be greatly excited for, or the A380, any of them. Any of the newer ones, that is. I mean, the A310 maybe I would be excited for, but I doubt anybody would go for the A310. After DCS, I'm gonna pretty much hand fly the rest of the way, because we don't really have that much farther to go after this. As we can see by this, it's only about 40 miles, which we can cover in about 7 minutes. So that's good. But as I was saying, I think Airbus is being left out kind of at the development scene. Like, PMDG has done pretty much all exclusively Boeing products, and they said that they plan on doing that. In Quality Wings. Quality Wings has been doing the Boeing 787 for a while, and they're just starting the 737 Classic, and they already did the 75. So it's kind of raises some questions as to why they're all doing just Boeing. I don't know many other high quality add-on developers other than Majestic Software, but I didn't hear anything that I thought Majestic is just staying with the Dash 8. I didn't hear that they were going at anything else. So I think that it's kind of important that we realize where it's going and where we need to be, and we need to voice our opinions as well, because if we want something and we know we're gonna buy it, we have to back things a lot, because sometimes projects just die, and also if people go through with it, not people, but if developers go through with it and they don't get the aircraft doesn't do very well, then it's less likely that they'll continue to do their aircraft, because it costs money to do the aircraft and it takes so long. So that being said, it's important that you back what you're going to buy very much, and you let it be known that you're not going to buy certain things if you're very large in the community, as like I am. And you can do polls and stuff like that, just so but the developers can see what is good for them. And I'm pretty sure they do that by themselves anyway, but why not help them out with that? So now we're still kind of cruising along at 13,000 feet. We're not going to be going any higher than this. It's perfectly fine. Set the cruise thrust. So that's set there. As soon as we hit DCS, it's really short from there. Look at the format again. So I mean, it's pretty much the same thing there. We'll go to our nearest airport list. It's not quite well on the island. Pretty sure this is all Wales. I don't know. I'm not English. I'm Irish, so I don't know. But it's just a guess. King Air 350 over there. Really beautiful aircraft, actually. This is probably going to be the thumbnail. If I could just get the thumbnail taken, that would be great. Yeah, it's really nice. Really good on the frame. Somebody asked me in the last video, and I couldn't reply to their comment. I don't know why, but the last Dash 8 video is very easy on the frames. Extremely easy on the frames, to be precise. With Fraps, it only drops 10 frames for me, and it's actually about 25 right now, so it's only 5. It's only 5 frame drop, and that's with FSPassengers, that's with Rex, that's with the Majestic Dash 8, and Fraps, and Audacity recording it all at the same time. So it is a very powerful plane in the fact that in the case of what it does, but then again, it's also very easy on your frame, and it won't destroy your PC. As far as what it does, it's actually quite easy on it, if you ask me. Then again, I do have a high-end computer, so that's something to keep in mind. If you have a computer that's just like that wasn't created after 2010, you're more likely to not do well with it, because everything that because technology advances so fast, the newest stuff is always the best, and a lot of things can happen in that amount of time. So if you haven't gotten an upgrade from your computer past 2010, you're most likely using software that's completely outdated for this type of environment and these planes, because the developers are developing for the higher end computers in what the norm is for now. So if you buy a computer that was the norm 4 years ago, would not be the norm now. So keep that in mind. I bought a new computer to play Flight Sim. Also because it's a really nice computer, but I also bought it so I could play Flight Sim. And I have to say, it was a great decision. It works really well, and it was a lot of money. But then again, I don't even have a job, so because I'm a minor, so I don't have a job. So if those of you who have jobs, you can certainly fork over the money to get this and have fun. I was actually thinking about making a home cockpit, but it's just going to be a lot of work, and I'll be going to college before it would probably be finished in the next 3 years or so. The next 2 years or so, I should say. So that's kind of fizzling out, but I'll keep in touch with you guys about that, and I'll keep doing the live with that. Actually, we don't even need to really hit that waypoint because it's so it's in a corner, so we're not gonna actually hit the waypoint. We'll just turn just shy of the waypoint. Yeah, there you go. Just alright, we know. So I'm just gonna hand fly it from now on, just so that we can descend a little bit faster without putting in inputs. Start decreasing the throttle so that we can start a descent. I don't know how we're climbing. That's an anomaly. Start the turn. Gotta use a lot of rudder to keep us coordinated. Turn. I don't think I would ever be able to fly this plane, just by the fact that it, you know, I think that any prop aircraft that's twin engine should have counter-rotating props so that it doesn't have P-factor. Because I fly a plane that has P-factor, and I have to tell you it's extremely annoying and irritating. Yes, it's just a part of flying, but it is very annoying. Because you're constantly worried about like that. You're just constantly worrying about just basic things during flight. You're constantly worried about being aligned with the runway with the correct coordination without slipping the aircraft. Things like that. It's just like stuff that you don't want to worry about. Oops, I put that the wrong way. Sorry. It's very touchy because it is a prop aircraft, so it's very light on the control surfaces. I'm gonna have to actually do a little bit of crabbing here to maintain this. You can see I'm just a little bit of a bank, just a little bit of a bank this way to the right. We'll be able to maintain that nice and effectively. We lost a significant amount of speed during that turn, and we're getting quite close. So as soon as we hit about 5 miles from this next waypoint, we'll start our real descent into the destination of Manchester. It's a really short flight, so we're not going to be serving drinks. I would be serving drinks, but it's not. It wouldn't work out because our time cruising is not sufficient to finish serving drinks. So that's a problem. Cruising along, not really much to talk about other than what I already said. I definitely think that I want an A330, really high quality A330 on the market, and I think that, you know, especially I feel like Aerosoft has it in the bag and they can do it really well, because the A330 and the A320 have almost identical cockpits. I mean, they're both twin engines, so that doesn't change, whereas the 330 and the 340 change because they're both they have different numbers of engines, but the difference between the 320 and the 330 is only in size, weight, and exterior modeling. So I think it's a very good way to go. I think a lot of people would actually buy it. I know there's a black box simulation, but I don't know. I heard bad things about it, and that can really turn you off on a product if somebody tells you that it's not extremely great. Unlike, you know, PMDG products where everybody's like, oh, it's amazing, and you know you're getting good stuff. I've never got stuff from black box, so I don't know if their stuff is good. Still kind of unported and needed to hear us. Almost got it. It's really hard for me to coordinate in turns and stuff with this. Just because I don't have rudder pedals, and that's what I'm used to. I only have my the twist function on my joystick, so I don't really have the option to have rudder pedals. If I had rudder pedals, we'd be pretty much coordinated the entire time. But it's kind of hard for me to maintain coordination with just the
altimeter
thing, just the rudder on the yoke. That just a warning that sounds every single time the throttle is set to 0. So we really are quite close now. So we'll start descending. We still have about a 30-mile stretch to TNT 56, but we'll start descending anyway. Only warning is cabin pressure. I can't seem to figure that one out, so I've flown it with it for quite a while now. Obviously, I know that you wouldn't in the real world. Really nice scenery in England, actually. I don't have a global scenery pack. If I had one, it would be much nicer, but because my computer's nice, I'm able to crank it up all the way, everything high. So it does look pretty nice, I have to say. Cloud textures are all Rex. Water, I'm pretty sure, is Rex too. You can see the reflection of the clouds in the water. Very nice. So we're just getting an altitude alert that we're getting away from our altitude that we previously set. It takes a lot to get this thing to descend at a nice rate. You can see it's a little bit light. We're getting there. About 1 minute away from Lakey. We're going to keep our speed up here. It's going to be a PA in a second. Or not. Yeah. To Edinburgh. Let's see if we can get any closer. Manchester Center. Here's the airport. That's it. I would create an IFR flight plan, but there's really no point in using their system because I'm pretty sure they don't follow the stars, and that's kind of the whole point that I'm showing you this. So that doesn't really make any sense for me to do.
Descending below 10,000
I'll just get myself in there. I'll just fit myself in the approach.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are descending to our destination. Please fasten your seatbelts and ensure all seats and tray tables are in the upright and locked position.
I'm going to fly through a cloud just to show you guys. I'll stay here at this altitude in order to get to this cloud because we have a good enough amount of time to our next waypoint and enough altitude that we can take a second off to show you the clouds. The Rex cloud, like I said, so much higher quality than the normal clouds. I don't know if they're volumetric or not. I'm not quite sure about that. Yeah. So we'll just go through this. They look quite volumetric to me. They don't look like a bunch of. We'll see when we go through them. They don't look like a bunch of photos laid on top of each other. If that's what I tried to say. Much higher quality than usual. They just look like they're just like 3 pictures. They're just lined up in front of each other. They look quite bad. I know X-Plane has some really nice volumetric clouds. The problem is that X-Plane is much less backed by developers, and as well, X-Plane is much. First of all, it costs money, right? So instead of like FSX, which was very cheap because it was so old, X-Plane is a new add-on, so it costs money. And I don't, obviously FSX costs money, but it costs like a reasonable amount of money. I think it's like $50 or something. And as well, I already have all my add-ons for FSX, and that's pretty much the problem that everyone has with X-Plane. That's really the only reason why I haven't gone and purchased X-Plane. I was really close to, actually. I was very, very close to actually purchasing the add-on a little while ago. When I got I have a desktop now as well, but it's much less powerful than my this computer, so I decided that I'm not going to record with it. So Really nice clouds here.
Caution, terrain. Caution, terrain.
Roger. The terrain's like 8,000 feet. So yeah, we're fine. It's just our throttle. So we're just gonna maintain this speed. We really don't need to drop it down. This plane drops speed quite quickly. So we're okay to do that. Daily is when we are transitioning onto the ILS, and we're not going to use the ILS, we're just going to be visual. But that's when we have to pretty much start getting ready for our final approach in that little area. They're just nervous due to turbulence. I didn't feel any turbulence, so I don't know about that. Yeah, you haven't much to go. I'm gonna try to trim it out because it's kind of annoying holding my hand here. Now the passengers aren't 100% satisfied just because of some wind. It's kind of dumb. I don't create the wind. I don't make that good. Well, of course in flight sim I can, but I very exclusively fly real world weather conditions. I very rarely do not fly it. It just feels kind of like I'm cheating the system if I don't use it. So I use it very frequently. And that's pretty much all I use. Still no Manchester, even though we're not far away from it at all. Still about 4 minutes until our next waypoint. We're just going to maintain here at 5,000 feet. The elevation is only about 1,900 feet around here, so we're not going to descend too low because there's really it's not really necessary because we are only about 4,000 feet, or actually 3,900 feet, or no, would it be? Maybe 3,100 feet. Above the ground, so you don't really need to go down any further. It would be just kind of unnecessary. And it kind of looks like it seems, if you're watching the video, like when we go through the clouds, the frames drop. But that's not happening. It's just the transition of the clouds, I think. So as you can see, if you know, it's 15 frames per second right now. Obviously, it goes down, but not to anything noticeably slower. We're still being good. Instrument flying is kind of confusing sometimes because you can't tell the difference when you're going through clouds if you're banked or not. Anyway, only 3 minutes now to this waypoint. We should be there really soon, hopefully, so that we can get the aircraft landed. I can get this video rendered and put up. Would be up much sooner, but the problem is that video is pretty much gone. Not pretty much, it is. For some reason, I didn't get any system, or not system, but none of my folders had previous versions on them today for some reason. Even though I have system protection on, it didn't work. So I was kind of just stumped and really upset when I woke up this morning. And so I came on to just fly a quick one. Again, the thing with the other one is a lot was cut out because it was a much longer flight than this one. It was about an hour and a half rather than 45 minutes or so. So it was cut. That one was cut down to about an hour, probably what this is going to be. But stuff, a large majority of the cruise was cut out because it was kind of unnecessary. So here we're about 2 minutes from TNT1. I'm kind of getting bored here. Just want to finish this up. What I might do is I might just stick that autopilot on for a little bit longer, just to maintain this heading. Because as you can see, we have a little bit. After daily, we have a long way to go still. So I might just do that actually. We'll have this and we'll hold our altitude. I know that it's heading over there, but it'll turn fast enough. No, not quite. No. Vertical speed. We have to come down. That's not what I want. Not pitch hold. I want it maintain. 5,000 feet with vertical speed. Let's go down. 4,000 feet per minute is far too much. This will do. Straight down to 5. That'll be enough. Just getting ourselves more on a line. Kind of confusing jumble of waypoints up in the frontal part. So we're gonna have to figure that out. I'm sure we will figure it out rather quickly. Actually, there's maybe I underestimated the length of the flight. Obviously not by much, but let's try and figure out what's going on. That's the runway. Yeah, so we really don't have that much longer to go. We only have about after this waypoint, it's going to be a little bit longer to get to the actual runway, because this is going to be about, I think, our final approach. We're actually going past our altitude that was assigned. So what I'll do is I'll just set our altitude to 3,800. As soon as we get to 3,800, we'll hold off there. And I think the airport's over there somewhere. What we're going to do is we're going to come for about 9 miles longer, about 2 minutes. We'll go straight and then turn right towards the airport. And the airport, it'll be pretty much 20 miles straight flying from there. So now we're just maintaining this. We're still pretty far away, so we don't need to slow down any more than we are. It would just kind of be counterproductive to the flight if we did that. Checking all our enunciators are off. Gonna put our approach flare and taxi lights on because it is dark now. You can see here the lights, I believe, are, I'm pretty sure they're on the landing gear. So that's gonna be that. Still 2 minutes to go left. Still 2 minutes to go to the next waypoint. Okay, so here's Manchester. It's 5. Manchester Tower. We're just gonna keep our ears on Manchester Tower to see if there's anything coming in or out. Because our TCAS is off right now, and I can't seem to get it started. I don't really know where the TCAS is on this aircraft. That's not it. So this looks like a lot of confusingness. It's just FMS tuning. That's IRS. Should be in here somewhere. Whatever, can't find it. I mean, it's not really important when we have, you know, visual reference. We can see the aircraft. There's not really a problem with that. We're still kind of low, but I'm just gonna lay low here. It's gonna be in our best interest to lay low. We don't really want. It's because we've talked about this aircraft being quite light. We don't want to just go for a quick descent, because we really don't have that extreme quick descent capabilities with this particular aircraft. start slowing her down here for the turn. I would try to make it slow, but it's still kind of skipped around. It kind of does that. So we should be getting the the runway in sight kind of soon.
2500.
2500. Roger. We're only about 1,000 feet off the ground now. 2,000 feet off the ground. It's about 28 miles, so it's 7 minutes to go. And we should be making oh, that's a long way. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna do this. Let's go here. Actually, no, we don't even have to do that. We can do that from here. Autopilot will remain it on. This is what we'll do. Flight plan. And actually we'll go to nav. And we'll go straight to CI 05 left, 13. And that will do no, but from FMS. It'll take me just a minute to finish this. From daily 7. See if we can finish it, get it going, unless it's going to be difficult. Alright, whatever, it'll be difficult, but we'll still get there. Because the runway is like that, it kind of makes no sense to go out. I know it is the standard terminal arrival route, but for simulation purposes and for video length purposes, we'll cut that shorter. I don't want you guys sitting here watching, 20 minutes of guff. There's the airport over there. It's only 18 miles to FIO 5L. Sorry, 5 left. It's quite close. We were just about adjacent to the airport, which, like I said, is just right over there. Right over here, rather. Nice airport. I fly out of Manchester on VATSIM a lot. I actually fly into Manchester a lot. I didn't mean fly out. I fly into Manchester a lot on VATSIM. I fly out of Gatwick a lot on VATSIM. Two nice airports. I like to fly out of them on VATSIM, particularly. The English controllers are very nice. They're very nice people. Very good at what they do. We're gonna just the warning for the gear, so I'll slap down the gear now. Because we're visual, we're going to be cutting that short. We're not necessarily going to go straight to FI 05 left. What we're going to do is we're probably going to cut it a little bit shorter than that. Just like I said, for video length purposes and for purposes that we don't really need that much of an approach. As if I see the approach to be fit, then I will continue to fly it, or I will proceed to fly it. The gear's just down because, as we talked about, I will probably turn in at a moment coming soon. So we want to just have that out so that we're prepared for anything that's coming for us. And I'll do that. Okay, heading selecting yaw damper with the yaw damper off. As soon as we get a visual on the runway, we'll probably start turning in to line up with the center line. We'll be using full flaps today. There's another airport right off in the distance there. It's a really high density part of the world for airports. It's actually such a. Oh, actually no, that's a plane. I bet it's on the same approach that we're going to go on. 05 left, which is somewhere in there. What we'll do is we'll go right behind him. So, what we'll do is we'll start descending to his altitude, and as soon as he passes us, we'll go with him. I believe he's on approach to 05 left, just like we are going to be in a second. And what I'll do, like I said, I'll swing past the back of him. As soon as we take out the throttle, it's a very, very light plane. And it's kind of hard to control it sometimes when it's that light. So I usually like to keep the throttle in there, but it's kind of necessary now to, yeah, he's on 05 left, which we can see right there. It's quite a bit smaller, but it's kind of fine for us because we are in a turboprop aircraft that doesn't need that much room. Just an altitude alert that we're not at our selected altitude, which we know. We can probably start turning in soon. I know that that's kind of a short approach, but this aircraft does not need a large approach to get stabilized. Here comes a 7-3. Like I said, we'll swing right behind him. As soon as we get to an acceptable altitude, we'll swing right behind him. I'm gonna go for another 2 minutes, not 2 minutes. I'll go for another minute this way, in order to give us a little bit more distance. What I'm gonna do is, instead of going diagonally, I'm just gonna go parallel to the runway to get the most horizontal distance away from it. Let me turn the brightness of my screen up a little bit. There you go, that's much better. I can't find the domes in this aircraft, so I guess we're just gonna have to. There's panel lighting. Okay, that will do. That's really nice lighting. Oh my god, that's really nice. So the 7-3, I guess, landed already.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land. Please remain
That's true. I mean, we're a little bit far away, but it's true. We'll just turn into the runway now. We've got enough distance on it. More than enough distance. What we'll do is, as soon as we line up with it, we'll start our turn. As soon as we get closer to it, we'll start our turn inbound for the runway. Like I said, we really don't need that much space.
Manchester Tower 343 ready to go. Runway 6 left, IFR to on an hour. 343 cleared for takeoff.
That guy's gonna go. It's a Learjet, so it'll get off, and we will come on right behind him. Still kind of high in the pitch. That's fine, I know. There's actually another aircraft waiting there. So we'll request a full stop. We have the uniform. If I showed in 6 left, how correct was that? Yeah, I never listened to the ADA, so I don't know. Clear to land. So there's a 7-3 landing right. I don't see him. Gotta get back in the cockpit. It's kind of necessary at this point. I wanted to kind of see it, but actually, I don't think that. Yeah, there he is. I don't think that runway is necessarily larger. I just think that it's pushed back farther. So it's going to be an easier taxi for him. Like I said, we don't really need that much space to line up. I know that we're not lined up now, but we will be. There's a guy on the runway, so we're just going to continue. Oh, there, he's taking off now, so that's no big deal.
What's your descent rate?
I know. A little bit quick, so what I'll do is I'll leave the throttle out for now. And I believe that's another Dash 8 right there on
Plus 100.
It's another Flyby right there.
Minimums.
I'm gonna leave that thrust in there just to get us past that line right there.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
That touchdown, and we'll turn on our reverse thrust. At 60 knots, we'll disengage him.
80 knots.
60. Disengage.
60 knots.
Some nice slow braking. Turn next taxiway, roger.
Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete halt and the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign.
It's British Midland International. runway, or not runway, but God, aircraft right there. I'm not going to contact the ground. That's just dumb. We're flying. We're not flying on Batson, so there's no reason to contact ground. Blah blah blah. We're not going to contact ground. They're going to taxi to the gate. Gonna have to use the tiller. A lot of Flyby aircraft around here. I've never seen a Flyby aircraft in the real world. Just because of where I live, it's not around here. But it's kind of interesting that it's really dominant in this part. I'm gonna hit that gate right on the end. There's a gate right over there on the end that's not occupied. I'm gonna go park there. It's kind of necessary to taxi what it looks like really fast in this aircraft, because it's really hard to it will stop extremely fast under any power lower than this. So it's kind of necessary to keep the power up to keep it going, because I'll show you in a moment that we won't even, when we're going into our gate, we're not even going to have to use our brakes. We're just going to have to do another power, and the aircraft will pretty much stop completely. Unless I turn for the wrong one and there's already an aircraft in there, that would suck. Oh, actually, no, I have to go this way anyway. Going to the gate right next to it. So we're slowing into the turn by just reducing our thrust. Lufthansa, probably A319 or something like that. Or it could be a 737 Classic. I'm pretty sure they have like a 735 or something in their fleet still. Alright, so I want you to watch this. As we come in, I'm going to just use the thrust to stop us. You can see I'm not using any brakes at all. It's just very hard to get this thing moving on the ground. Just on the landing lights on, I just never turn those off. We'll put those on right now. Put those off right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at our destination. On behalf of the captain and crew, thank you for flying with us today, and hope you will join us again.
And we will start deboarding. So it's about 5 minutes to deboard. That's a long time, so I'm going to leave you guys here. I appreciate you guys watching the video. If you liked what you saw, please think about subscribing. It helps us out a lot. And like the video if you want to support this this series. Ooh, look, it's actually a Lufthansa Cargo MD-11. Interesting. Anyway, if you like this series, please like it, and we know that it's doing well. We will continue this series. I think it's really fun to do. Next video, I'll be doing an ERJ or E-Jet 190 probably, and then Jason will take on the next 4 installments of it, and then we'll continue like that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time in this installment. By the way, I'll put the pictures of the results of the flight on right at the end of the video, and you'll see them in just a second. But anyway, like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.